Hello guys, I just wanted to actually do another video here. I'm in one of my cooking moods again, so I know whenever I, kind of get in one of my cooking moods, I, sometimes like to just kind of get on and just kind of cook a meal, and just kind of show you all how I do things here. It's not anything extravagant or fancy or anything like that, but it's getting cold outside or colder. This weather here is crazy. Here in the South, is one moment it's one thing and the next moment is something else. But sometimes you just want something that's kind of a bit hearty, that's going to kind of stick to the ribs. So for tonight, actually, I'm going to be doing a quick meal. I'm going to be just making myself some chili. Okay, it's not anything big or extravagant, and I just wanted to kind of share that experience with you. Again, I'm not the type of person that get on here and actually have a quote unquote cooking channel, but I just wanted to kind of just do a little quick video or whatever, just to show you how I make my chili. Number one, of course, we need to start with the most basics here. In order to make the chili, you have to have the seasoning. So basically, I have here this chili seasoning right here. There's like a little packet that's in there. This packet right here, I use that to actually, season the broth and everything to kind of make it, to make it kind of good and everything. So yeah, this is the chili kit. Okay, I'll put that right there. Of course, we need our onion. Okay. Put that right there. I also like to use bell pepper. I'm going to be using my bell pepper. I'm going to kind of cut this big old bell pepper. This is a pretty big bell pepper here, but I'm going to be using this. I'm going to cut it up and, of course, dice it just like I am going to do with the onion. Okay. I also have here beef broth. With this here, it is less sodium. Can you see that? Less sodium broth, beef broth. There was actually something that I saw in the store here that kind of piqued my interest. This is something new that I want to try. This is actually called, what is this? Oakwood smoked pepper. So I actually wanted to kind of get like a bit of that old smoky taste to it. So I wanted to kind of, see what this is going to be like, as far as the peppercorn. So yeah, this is old smoked pepper. It has like a smoky taste to it. So I kind of wanted to try to test that out to see how that's going to go. Of course, I have my garlic back here. My garlic, I have it in a little thing right here. I have my onions. You have to have your onion powder. Also with that, I also have my Lawry's seasoned salt. So I have my seasoned salt here. So again, that's to kind of season. And of course, I have my cans here, my kidney beans here. I got my diced tomatoes here because I want to put that in there. And I also want to have pinto beans also in there. So I want to actually include those in there to kind of give me a different variety of different beans. And of course, we need the meat. So here it is here. Not really much of anything, but since it's just me, we're going to be using this 80-20 ground beef. Okay, I'll come back to you all when I actually have everything cut up. All right. Okay, before I actually get into the heart or the cooking of the meal or what have you, I just want to kind of bring you all and introduce you to my pressure cooker here. This is called the Chef IQ smart pressure cooker. Basically, it's like kind of like a computerized pressure cooker where it does everything pretty much on its own. All you do is just set the ingredients. You have your little menu here. Now, I know you probably can't see it here because the light is too bright, but you have like a little menu here, a little LCD screen. Okay, so yeah, so the heart of the cooking is actually going to be done through my toy here. Basically, this is what's called a smart pressure cooker. It's a Chef IQ. I don't know if you all have ever heard of it, but it actually has done me just well. I love it because pretty much you put all of your ingredients in here, and basically you just let it do everything that it do on its own. You have your LCD screen right here. Basically, it's still in the Christmas mode because you can kind of see on the LCD screen that it got little snowflakes falling on there. But anyway, I use this as my go-to for cooking, for pressure cooking. So basically, I just wanted to kind of let you know this is what I'm going to be using to do my cooking as far as my chili goes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and actually put my beef in there. And basically, I'll bring you back in there once the beef starts cooking, okay? So as you can see right now, I've already put the beef inside the slow cooker here, or the pressure cooker. So right now, I'm just basically just browning the meat, okay? So I'm just going to make sure that I cook this down and get it to where it's all brown and everything. And then we'll be able to go ahead and go back in there and add the meat and all of the other ingredients that I kind of chopped up for you. Okay, so now of course I can show you all that at some point here. But right now, we're all about the browning of the meat, okay? Be back in a bit. Okay, guess I thought I was recording, I guess I wasn't. Okay, so I went ahead and added some of the onions and bell pepper in there. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of this garlic. Put that in there so we can go ahead and do what we need to do with that. I'm going to go ahead and actually lightly seasoning my everything right now. So this is a little bit of the seasoned salt. That in there. Like that. Okay. And my onion powder. That in there as well. Okay. And the most important part of it, which is my favorite, which happens to be my smoked pepper. Because this is very, I put a little bit in there to see how that actually comes out. This was experimenting. I just wanted to see how that's going to actually come out. Very eager to see how that's going to taste. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just kind of saute this a little bit. Okay, and then when I come back, I'm going to go ahead and actually start pouring in the beans and then the broth, and then we're going to go ahead and get this thing set up to pressure cook, and I will be right back, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I kind of got this kind of sauteed a little bit, basically how I want it. I didn't actually want to cook it all the way down. I actually wanted to have it where the vegetables and everything have some sort of bite to it. So I didn't want to actually go all the way in and cook it where it's all the way mushy. I don't like mine like that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and add all of my beans in here. And I'm going to actually include the juices with it as well, okay? That's what I want to do. I'm not going to drain anything. I want everything. I'm not wasting any time, anything, okay, because I want it all in here, the juices and everything else, because that's going to contribute to the liquid that's going to be needed in order to bring this chili up to pressure in order to cook. Okay, so what I want to do basically, just overall here, I just want to kind of give it kind of like a brief stir, just a moment here, just to kind of get everything kind of introduced to each other, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stir that around just a little bit. I like how it looks already. Look at how colorful it is. Okay, so now, see here, let me get my chili powder, because that's going to be the main event, right? You can't forget the chili powder. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and introduce the chili powder to this pressure cooker here. Smells so good. Okay, and basically what I'm going ahead and doing now is I'm just going to briefly pour that in there so I can go ahead and get everything kind of, you know, started here to kind of make everything start to look like a chili. Okay. All right, everything is starting to slowly come together. I like this. All right. So now what I need to do here, now that I got pretty much everything for the most part mixed together, now I'm going to be adding the broth. Okay, so I want to make sure that I add enough broth in here to kind of get it to where, you know, it becomes to the consistency where it's kind of soupy but not too soupy, you know. Okay, see, something like this. This is perfect. This is so beautiful. Okay. Okay, so what I like to do here, let me just kind of taste it a little bit, because I already know that I'm going to have to add some more seasonings to it, but I don't want to actually do too much to it too soon, you know, because again, you know, you can kind of over season and then next thing you know, it'll end up being salty. That's why what I like to do is that whenever I'm cooking, I like to go ahead and just put enough seasonings just to get it started, and then just leave it at that, and then I'll probably add more seasonings once it's actually done, because again, it's always too easy to over season your food. Hold on just a moment here. All right. Sorry, I had to go away for just a moment here to do that too. Let me go ahead. I think that should be actually enough broth, right? Let me add a little bit more. Just want to make sure that, I think that's enough. Okay. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and actually so we got everything there. Everything looks to be pretty good so far. What I might want to do though is just add just a little bit more seasoned salt, just a little bit more, not much. Okay, and that should hold it over. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and actually begin to put this on, to set this to start cooking. Okay, so I'll show you how I do that. Okay. What I really like about this pressure cooker here is that everything is actually, it's kind of like computerized. You know, I'm all about technology and everything. I just love to kind of play with my, you know, gadgets, kitchen gadgets and stuff to kind of test it out to see pretty much how, you know, it goes or whatever. But that's what I like about this smart, this Chef IQ smart cooker, pressure cooker. I have a little menu here. So what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and actually just manually, you know, do this thing here. I don't want to actually have it programmed per se to do anything special. I just want to kind of just, I would like to be in control, you know, so I'm going to go ahead and put my original settings that I want on there. So what I'm going to do is that since it's already set to manual, I'm going to go ahead and push the OK button. Okay, and what I want to do here is that, wait a minute, let me back out of this. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Let me hit pressure cook. There we go. Pressure cook. Okay, pressure cook is set. Okay, and so what I want to do now is hit the manual. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to go up to here and I'm going to select, for the most part, push it in to select the cooking time, and I'm going to bring this down to about, let's say about 10 minutes. Okay, so 10 minutes should be good. What I want to do is go, okay, press that to select that. I'm going to scroll down here. Pressure level is high. I want to always have the keep warm on. Delayed start, no. Okay. I'm going to make sure that this is actually set to quick release whenever it's done cooking. Okay, and basically I'm done. Everything is pretty much good. So what I want to do is go ahead and hit continue. Okay, it's asking me to make sure that everything is actually in its place here. Basically making sure that my rubber gasket is in to hold in the pressure, and to make sure that I actually have this this dongle set to seal, so the pressure can be able to hold in there to cook. So I want to change that from venting to seal. Okay, and you know, it's just pretty much just doing your last checks just to make sure that everything is in place before I you know, do my cooking, where I set everything to, you know, start pressure cooking. So what I want to do now is that, if you can see here, I'll bring it down here just a little bit. It's beeping now for me to actually go ahead and hit the start button. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And now the only thing I need to do now is just sit back and relax and let this whole thing, let this pressure cooker do whatever it is it's going to do. And all I want is just, you know, for it to hear, you know, it beeps to let me know that it is pretty much finished cooking. So I'll bring you all guys back once everything is pretty much set in place for the most part, and we'll see how this chili is going to turn out. Okay, thanks. Okay, as you can see, guys, it's counting up right now. So basically what I'm waiting for now is just for the percentage there to get to 100%. Once it hits 100%, that's when the actual cooking process, the pressure cooking process, will actually begin. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm waiting on now. So, you know, it's getting on up there here, so it should start actually cooking in just a few minutes here. Okay, so I'll probably see if I can probably bring it back on once it gets to 100%. If you can hear it kind of well, you can kind of hear the kind of pressure that's building up right now, since it's actually approaching 100%. If I know you can't really see, I know you're not going to be able to see it because I can barely see it with my natural eyes, but you can start to see the steam actually coming from out of the vent. So as the steam is coming out, and as closer as this gets to 100, the steam is letting out some steam now, but it's actually going to stop in a couple of seconds here, because again, that's when you know that once that steam stops, that's when the pressure is already, you know, built up enough to where it can actually physically start cooking the food that's inside this pressure cooker. So right now it's getting almost to that point. All right, so it's just about there. Okay, so now it quickly reached 100%. So now it's actually starting to do the countdown. Okay, so right now that's pretty much where we are right now. So it's counting down. So basically, once he gets all the way down to, of course, the 0, whatever, it's counting down from 10 minutes. Then that's pretty much when it'll actually go into, you know, pressure releasing. And basically, since I already have it set to quick release, I'm gonna try to see if I can get back here to show you all what the sound that it makes once it begins to release the pressure. Okay, so right now it's counting down those 10 minutes. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so now basically what it is playing a chime. So basically it's getting ready to release now. You can see the heat is actually coming back. It's coming from this little element right there. I don't want to touch it because it's hot, but you can hear the steam, but it's coming out from the contraption right there. That's pretty much where it's coming out at. And it actually did it on its own. That's the best part. That's what I like about this, is that it does everything on its own. You don't have to go in and manually turn and all this other type of stuff. It's doing everything that it's supposed to do on its own. So basically what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and let this air release. Okay, and then I'll bring you back so we can take a look inside to see what's going on the inside, okay? Okay, the pin dropped here, that red valve here. That is what I'm showing here, that has to be down first before I can actually open it up. That's to let me know that the pressure has been properly released. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and twist this knob open, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up and see what we got. Oops. Open it away from me. Ooh. Let's see what we got. Please, let's just see what we got. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Let's position that right there so you can kind of go in there and kind of take, oops. Okay, there we go. It's still bubbling a little bit. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see that goodness. Okay, there we go. Okay, all right, I guess I have to bring it back some. Okay, there you go. Oop, don't fall off. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stir it a little bit, kind of make sure that everything that's in there is supposed to be in there, and all that goodness and everything. Just look at that. I like this. I really do. I like it a lot. So basically now what I'm wanting to do now is just to kind of taste it a little bit, just to make sure that it actually has enough seasonings. Okay. You can see all of the beans in there. You can even see, you know, bits of the bell pepper in there, you know, so it's, you know, it's quite colorful. All right, so what I want to do here, let me just taste a little bit. Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. It's pretty good. I didn't expect for it to be that good, you know, that good. So what I want to do now is I want to actually add a little bit more of that, a little bit more of this here. I've just gotten hooked on this. I'm going to try to see if I can, I want that authentic smoky taste. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this oak wood smoked pepper to it. Just a little bit to kind of give it that smoky. Crack a little bit of that in there. There we go. You can see that in there real quick. Okay. Give it a little bit more as far as the stirring goes. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me taste it a little bit. It tastes pretty good. I'm pretty much satisfied, but I think it just needs just a little bit more seasoning. What I usually do is I have these little Saison seasoning packs here. If you can see that a little bit, Saison is pretty good. So what I want to do is just put just a little bit in there. Not much. I don't think it'll take much, but I just want to make sure that I, you know, put a little bit in there to kind of liven it up a little bit. So let me just sprinkle a little bit of that in there. And that should actually be it for the seasonings. So now what I need to do here, stir it up a little bit. Do one more final test. I like what I create. I like that a lot. It's pretty good. No complaints here. Let me position this back. It is pretty good. Okay. Okay, and the beans itself, I want to make sure that the beans are tender and everything. Let me make sure that that's not a bean, that's a tomato. Okay, it's red beans. Oh yeah. So kidney bean. Yes, tender. 10 minutes, that's all that you need actually for this particular recipe. So basically what I'm going to do now is that with this particular gadget here, gadget cooking is what I like to call it, I'm pretty much done. So what I need to do now is just go ahead and put the lid back on there. What I also like about this particular air fryer, or not air fryer, what I'm talking about air fryer. What I like about this particular, let me position the camera so I can put it right here so you all can see it, is that it actually asks me, for the most part, let me actually put that back there because I'm still trying to learn the angles of this camera. You know, it asks me if I want to keep everything warm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it warm, you know, to let it do its thing here. Let me see if I think I can let you all see that, if you can see it. But see it right there? It's asking here. Cut it down like this. Anyway, it's asking me for the most part if I want to actually keep it warm. So basically what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to let it stay warm until I'm actually ready to start eating, okay?